Behold, I am coming like a thief. Blessed is the one who stays awake. The second coming is stereotypes associated with the return of our Lord Jesus Christ. For many years, the thought of terrible and catastrophic upheavals, invariably associated with the expectation of the second coming of Christ into the world. Well, the first time he came, we know he came for the salvation of mankind. The second time will be for judgment. The judge is coming for the final judgment, the settlement in many people's minds. This is mainly facilitated by the reading of all the passages, predominantly in the Synoptic Gospels. The Apostle John passes over this topic in silence, only directly mentioning in the words, "I will not leave you orphans, I will come to you," John 14:18, and others like that. Many of us having uneasy minds and the ardor of a discoverer, began to scrupulously count the number of earthquakes, hurricanes, floods, and other man-made and natural disasters. The peak of interest in the statistics of tragic and terrifying cataclysms came in the mid-1990s, when some events seriously questioned the meaning of studies and working and moving on in life, and sooner or later, a large majority of people these people studying this realized there's a need to work, read, and study material, build and repair, do many other things, which, however, the life of an ordinary person consists of, and it was at the time that the excitement of expectations began to subside. Faith in the Advent has not disappeared to this day, but it has acquired more sound forms than before. Passion subsided and gave way to calm reasoning, where the event itself, the date of which is known only to God, turned into a subject of deep reflection, study, and expectation. The words of Jesus show that wars, earthquakes, epidemics, natural disasters are not the goal of intimidation, and even more so should not be the center of attention. Jesus himself said that all of these things must be, and this is the beginning of trials. Attention is inevitably drawn to other aspects of the expectation of the coming, and the signs that Christ emphasized and which are invariably lost against the background of more grandiose and striking ones, such as fires, tsunamis, epidemics, and wars. Christ apparently did not want to oppress us, although he warned of the onset of these. His main goal apparently is to remind us of the dangers of losing interest, plunge headlong into solving earthly problems, and being carried away by acquisitions and constructions, endless repairs, and the relevance of the iPhone for the current year. The idea of the unexpectedness of the Advent could lie precisely in the fact that a person gets used to daily news and often gets tired of them. Their daily listening and repetition brings alienation, fatigue, and a desire to concentrate on other, more pleasant aspects of life. All the more there are plenty of prerequisites for this. The main stereotype of the second coming can be called the fear and expectation of disasters, and reading the book of Revelation fuels this fear and increases it many times over. And what else surprised was the words of Jesus, where he draws parallels between the times of Noah and the generation that will live in the immediate vicinity of his second coming. Matthew 24:37-39 writes, "But as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be in the coming of the Son of Man. For as in the days before the flood, they were eating, drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. They knew nothing about what was happening until the flood came and destroyed them all. It will be the same when the Son of Man comes." These are the words of our Lord Jesus Christ. And this is where the most dangerous stereotype of expectation lies. It turns out that the coming of Jesus Christ will take those who live on earth by surprise, a reference to the book of Revelation, where this phrase occurs more often than in the rest of the New Testament. Living on earth, they will go about their business, not paying attention to wars, cataclysms, disasters, getting used to them, and with a truly Philistine behavior, aspiring to store discounts, thinking only about home improvements and completely forgetting about God, Christ, redemption, and the inevitable end. This text suggests that it will not be so terrible, apparently on earth, as two exalted preachers portray, paying attention only to death and another tsunami somewhere in Indonesia. By the way, one of the most destructive in history that was. The course of the life cycle, according to Christ, proceeds in line with the cares of the age, accumulation and maximum desire for peace and comfort, and this plays a fatal role, completely sweeping out the consciousness, the thought of God and striving for God. Christians who know about the coming, expect it, but nevertheless fall asleep spiritually, they will be taken by surprise, assuming that it is not soon and not everything has come true yet. The set of these assumptions can collapse in one moment. And again, the backdrop of a well-fed and comfortable life, this set presents a certain danger of oversleeping and wondering why everything did not go according to plan. There are a lot of stereotypes. There are only a handful touched on the surface, and only God knows how many of them remain in the heads of those who are in the agonizing expectation of the next flood or epidemic. In any case, everything may well not be as we expected, but God forbid that our expectations correspond to reality and do not harm the mind, heart, and even more so the faith. Now, when we talked about the second coming of Christ, my spiritual father told the group that we were listening to his sermon, that each person will experience the coming of Christ and at his passing. And of course, that's just a personal, individual judgment. But the great judgment, final judgment, is the second coming. And that's where the Lord picks out the lambs from the goats. So each one at our passing, at the end of our life, that is when our Christian actions count up to. Unless we have people praying for us after our dormition, how many people do pray for lost souls that have passed away? Very few. This is from Soul Ask. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.